What's up, Bulls Nation? Peck here from CHGO Bulls. We've got a live post-game show coming up for you right up next here from our headquarters downtown Chicago. Plus, the one and only Marc Stein of DLLS is going to chat with us for a little bit to talk Bulls big picture stuff. That's coming up next.
Go, guys.
What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls postgame, coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bam! BAWL Sports. Bam! Billy Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. And the queen on controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. Bulls win over the Atlanta Hawks, 125-113.
The Bulls win?
Oh. Bulls win. Yet another big comeback this season. It's like, is that all the Bulls do when it comes to victories, is comeback victories when they're down double digits?
Well, to be fair, they had come back from two 20-point deficits. This was only 18.
This was only an 18-point
They did mix
comeback.
it up, but yeah, I mean,
but they did complete the comeback nonetheless after allowing 70 first-half points to these Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
The Bulls, to their credit, I think, Billy made some adjustments and put some more defensive-minded players in there. Dalen and Julian really switched things up in the third quarter after the Bulls started They let the Hawks out on a 7-0 run to start the third. Mm-hmm. Billy sends Julian and Dalen in there. The Bulls clamped down a little bit. I also think the Hawks did the Bulls a bunch of favors in that second half. But after giving up 70 first-half points, the Bulls only allow 43 to the Hawks in the second half. You get timely buckets from Ayo. You get timely buckets from Kobe, Vooch, Zach, the whole crew. And the Bulls just kind of took a game that the Hawks gave them.
8 players in double figures for the Bulls. The whole starting five was in double figures, including 10 points from Patrick Williams. Wow. But I think it was 2 guys for me. It was definitely, that's just the bench, period. The bench definitely are the reason the Bulls got back in this game and took this lead. They weren't playing around. But Ayo Dosunmu was amazing tonight. I mean, the 19 points. He always plays well against Trae Young. I don't care if he's starting. I don't care if he's coming off the bench. He always is going to play well against Trae Young. But I thought Ayo and Dalen Terry were the reasons the Bulls were able to get back in this game, and also the reason the Bulls took this lead. They honestly just wouldn't stop. And also the Hawks were also the reason because the Hawks just quit playing basketball. Like you stated, 70 points in that first half, and 9? They had 9 points up to a certain point.
They had a layup line that was actually an alley-oop line instead of a layup line at one point.
Taking 35-footers just for no reason. Like, they were unserious, as Goat would say. They were definitely unserious.
I mean, that was just
good.
That was so bad. I mean, that reminded me, honestly, of the play-in game when they looked worse, but only because the game stakes were a lot higher in that one. I mean, this was just like Trae Young is so talented. Passing vision in the first half, unbelievable. Some of the plays he was making. Obviously, he can shoot it from anywhere. The pull-up threes, the floaters, all of it. Unbelievably talented. I'm not taking any of that away from him. Sure. But he just plays like he doesn't care. Yeah. He's too cool to care. And it's like just bizarre to see how he just let a 18-point. I mean, okay, I don't want to say it was an 18-point deficit because that was in the first half. It was like a 10-point lead for the Bulls going into the fourth quarter, and they just didn't score. I mean, I think at one point they had like 9 points through the first 6 minutes of the quarter.
Yes.
They scored in the fourth quarter. I was just pulling these numbers up.
Flexing.
Fourth quarter, 15 points for the Hawks. After, by the way, as Matt said, 70 points in the first half. 15 points in the fourth quarter. They were 6 of 23 from the field.
Gross.
0 of 7 from 3.
Gross.
3 of 7 from the free throw line. For the percentage people out there, 26-0-43 shooting splits.
Oh,
26-0-43 shooting splits. They had 4 turnovers and 6 made field goals.
But that's bad.
And it just felt like they were. I mean, again, you want to credit the Bulls defense because I do think they tightened up a little bit.
They did tighten up,
but I felt like the Hawks just threw that game away.
Yeah, like I said, it just felt like they didn't care at a certain point.
And to be fair, they were on the second night of back-to-back. They had a dramatic win, right? They lost against the Pistons.
Yeah, they lost
so
to the
maybe
Pistons.
you'd think they would have a little bit more urgency coming out of that, but wow.
Yeah, when you saw Trae Young continuously pulling up for those 35-footers, when you saw them passing up layups constantly when they would get inside, even when they got to the free throw line, like you mentioned, they weren't great at all at doing that. Like, they just all kind of just went to sleep, and we saw Minnesota kind of do this to the Bulls. But Minnesota's really good. Minnesota has Anthony Edwards. They can sleepwalk for the first 3 quarters and come back and whoop your ass and take it in the fourth. Atlanta has not been ever able to do something like that. That's not who they are. You know, their record shows you who you are. Isn't that what Billy says? Your record is who you, and that's what you say too. Your record is who you say you are. And they have been that way for years. You know, just a team that always is teetering. Either a couple over 500, a couple below 500. You know, they got the first round pick, still look like the same team.
They're the Bulls of the South.
They're the Bulls of the South. That is not a compliment from Matt Peck.
No, it's not.
So
they're like the Bulls.
Anything of the South, not a compliment.
But like the Bulls, they're at a talent deficit in a lot of these games. And like, they don't have anybody as talented as Trae Young. But you can't say the Bulls never try. Like the Bulls try hard.
They try hard, man.
They as we can poke fun at the integrity of the game stuff and making a home court advantage, all that stuff. Like they take that seriously and they do try. They give effort and they don't let themselves. The games aren't just done whenever whenever they're down 20. Like you have to credit the Bulls for being able to come back and they made some tough shots.
I absolutely credit them for that. No doubt. No doubt. That's not an easy thing to do. It's the NBA. Bottom line, this is your 3rd win in a row where you're double digits and almost your 3rd 20-point comeback to get a victory. And we don't care if you fell ass backwards into it. You walked away with a victory, dog. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Some nights in Purdue used the phrase win ugly on a recent post-game show when the Bulls failed to do so in a winnable game. If a team out there is on the second night of back-to-back and comes out in this, they give you a 7 quick points and increase their lead to 17, and the Bulls are staring at a 17-point hole, and then Atlanta spends the back half of the 3rd quarter and all the 4th quarter being like, here, take this game. Mm-hmm. Give the Bulls some semblance of credit for being like, okay, fine, we'll take this game.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned Ayo specifically, Dave. There's a lot of love for Ayo in the comments. Taronis Bologna saying Ayo and Coby closed it out. South Garcon saying, I got to say, guys, I got Ayo, White, Terry, even Lonzo. I don't see the need for Giddey, ... Sorry.
He didn't close.
Giddey only played 25 minutes. Ayo playing a lot better than Giddey. Giddey played 25. Ayo 31 minutes off the bench tonight. Kay in the comments saying Ayo so good. Kimberly, go Ayo. Ayo's more consistent than Giddey this year. D-Lasso, Terry, Ayo, and Phillips are goons of the night. Stick around and find out who. Only one man decides who the goon of the night is.
Wow.
But yeah, we were having conversations in preseason.
Yes.
About is Ayo a better player and should he be in the starting lineup over Josh Giddey?
Yeah.
Awkward, because the Bulls went out and traded and targeted specifically Josh Giddey in that trade with Alex Caruso.
Yeah, we talked about, me specifically, I was like, Ayo should be pissed, and I wouldn't even blame him if he was pissed that they went and got another guy, because I thought he should be upset about it. I get it. If Coby was upset about it, I get that too. You went and got a guy after both of them just had really great seasons,
Career
Coby
years.
especially. Having those amazing years, we saw games where Ayo was dropping 30. You know what I mean? For the Bulls. So I get why they would be like that. But the one reason we didn't worry about Ayo Dosunmu was because we knew whether he was starting, whether he was coming off the bench, his productivity would not wane. It would be the same thing every single time. Professional bucket getter. That's Ayo Dosunmu. He is going to get you 10+ points. He is going to play some solid defense. He is going to make a play on the floor. He's going to do whatever you need. I like the fact tonight that you saw him dunk, get fouled, and stand there and pose. That was a good look for me because you're not used to seeing Ayo do that stuff. I love that, man. Ayo Dosunmu is awesome. Nothing deters him or his confidence. I heard I can't remember who said it during the broadcast. They were like, well, we got to hope he gets his confidence back on that 3-point shot. And I was like, if there's one thing I'm not worried about, it's Ayo Dosunmu and his confidence, man. That's not going to be a concern for me at all. And shout out to my man Alberto because he quotes a line from Vin Diesel in his Oscar-nominated role as Dominic Toretto in The Fast and the Furious, where he says, doesn't matter if it's by a mile or it's inches, winning's winning. Oscar-nominated role. Should have won. These are jokes, by the way. He was not Oscar nominated. Please.
I was about to be like, wait.
My brain is
What?
just
These are
scrambled.
jokes. These are jokes.
Scrambled brain right now.
I would hope y'all would understand that movie his acting would be nominated. But it should have been. Shout out to him, man. But yeah, winning's winning. Win, no matter how you do it or how it happens, winning is winning. And winning, as Will always says, winning in this league is hard. And so if you can get a victory like that, you walk away with it, man, and you go on to the next game.
Guys, let's touch on the fact that this was the first game back for Zach LaVine, who missed, 3 games with the adductor strain on top of that shoulder that's been bugging him. He comes back tonight, back in the starting lineup, plays 32 minutes, finishes with 18 points on 7 of 12, just 1 of 5 from downtown. Did go 3 of 4 from the free throw line. And how about this? 7 dimes from Zach LaVine
Shout
tonight.
out.
Did have 3 turnovers, but so did Josh Giddey. Kobe had 2, Vooch had 2, Pat had 2. Everybody in the starting lineup had a little turnover action. But I thought this was one of those games where, not in the bad way we saw at times last season when he briefly came back from that injury before his season-ending surgery injury. Not in that bad way where Zach, like, quote unquote, lets the game come to him. I thought Zach let the game come to him in a way that was okay tonight. I don't think he ever tried to push too much. There was maybe 1 or 2 times where he was bringing the ball up the floor, while I would have maybe liked to see somebody else bring the ball up the floor.
Sure.
But if Zach's going to give me 18 on 7 of 12 and also dish out 7 assists, when we're talking about Zach LaVine either being a useful part of this team until he's gone, or how he might get traded out of here at some point this season, if that's what he still wants, if that's what the Bulls still want, it wasn't a Zach LaVine takeover game, but I'll take that.
Yeah, I thought Zach played well. I mean, he had a couple of turnovers. Obviously, that's going to happen. He had 3 of them. But to your point, 7 assists, like, that's a ratio I think you'd take every day of the week.
100%.
And I think, like, the key moments for me were the last 2 half-court possessions of the game when the Bulls ran pick and roll with Kobe screening for Zach to try to get Trae switched on him. And the first time, the Hawks were afraid to let that switch happen, so they kind of both converged onto Zach, and he made the right read, got it to Kobe for a 3. Second time, they tried to avoid it altogether, and so both defenders went to Zach, and he again passed to Kobe. Kobe got kind of bailed out there by the Clint Capella foul, but just good decision making from Zach in key moments. And obviously, that's an area of weakness, or an area that we've talked about him needing to improve on throughout his career. And so to see him obviously do that in the clutch, do that in a game that you end up getting the win. And by the way, I mean, the Bulls are now 4-3 in games when noted loser Zach LaVine is playing. So
take that stat.
What does that tell you?
NBA world, take that stat.
Big time loser.
Big time. I like the fact that, and I talked about this in my Prove It forum, to affect winning. And not just stand there in the corner, not just be passive, not just be pouting or anything like that. Or if your shot isn't falling, you can't contribute to the game. This is the second game he has had this season where the shot wasn't, the points weren't really there, but he still did other things on the floor to affect what was happening with the Bulls getting a victory. The first time was when he was hurt. The first time he went and grabbed 10 rebounds. This time we still saw his shoulder, him stretching out a little bit.
Yeah.
Shot not working. 7 assists out there on the floor. Grabs you a steal also. Those are the things that I think not only Bulls fans like seeing, but we like the rest of the NBA seeing about Zach LaVine. A winning basketball player, ladies and gentlemen. That is Zachary Attackery.
Yeah, how about that? And look, a couple of crucial possessions in that fourth quarter. You mentioned the 2-man game with Kobe and Vooch for that flip bucket. But Zach acknowledging that the Hawks were sleeping and just tears past whoever who was pretending not even to play defense and slams home a quick, easy dunk for 2. Yeah. And then I believe the ensuing possession after that, LaVine hit a tough mid-range fall-away jump shot.
Yes, he did.
That's like, okay, no DeMar, who's closing for this team. The transition dunk was huge. I think that pushed the Bulls lead up to 7. Yeah. But the couple of possessions before that, it was Zach LaVine blow-by dunk, Zach LaVine tough mid-range bucket.
Yeah, anytime they put Trae Young on him, he recognized it, attacked it, even sealed him down in the paint in that first half and got a layup that way too.
I love that.
Trae Young.
It's Trae Young.
Will's
favorite.
We'll put a pause right there while we take our first quick break and shout out some of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue breaking down the other elements of this Bulls comeback win over the Hawks. Plus, we're going to talk to the one and only Mark Stein.
You heard him.
Don't miss it. Hit the like button while we read these ads.
From Mark Stein.
Post game tonight brought to you by our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Our friends at Sunnyside are here to elevate your fall, Chicago. So Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They've got a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, offering easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Make your selections online, swing through, get on your way, get on with the rest of your day. Stop in the store nearest you throughout Illinois for expert guidance from their staff and select from quality lines like Cresco and Floracal. And when I say all over Illinois, not just Chicago and the suburbs, they've got spots as far south as Champaign, shout out IO and ILL, and as far north as South Beloit. Also available right now for a limited time offer. You got to check out the variety of products of Island Vibes from Good News. Available in disposable vapes, 510 carts, and live resin gummies. Good News Island Vibes. How about next level staycations? Destination relaxation. Good News Island Vibes. Good News Island Vibes. Puff Puff Paradise. All three.
All three.
Yes, please. Visit Sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off. That's 50. 50% off your first, not one, not two, but 3 online purchases. Just enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and over and Illinois Med card holders.
You know, Matt, let's talk about lighting up things.
I love lighting up things.
Well, I like lighting up lives. You know what I'm saying? Things
You
like
do.
that. You know, but saving money is what we're all about when you're doing that. Because, you know, ComEd can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient.
I did not know ComEd did that.
Whoa. It's true, Matt. It's true. The Energy Efficiency Program can help find up to 35% in energy savings, sir.
35? Wait, what? Hold on. Wow. So what does a business have to do to get in on those savings, Dave?
Oh, my God. I'm so glad you asked me that, Matt Peck. Just sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz.
That's it? That's so simple. Why aren't more businesses doing this, Dave?
I've been asking myself that, Matt, tossing and turning, trying to figure it out. Maybe they forgot the website?
I mean, but how?
Yeah.
It's so easy. ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz. ComEd.com/biz.
I mean, all of that works.
ComEd.com/biz.
I mean, it all works. Why don't you just do it? Mantra is it in BIZ is what it is, ladies and gents.
BIZ.
Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customers' energy usage and rate. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law.
Compliance.
Great
word.
Yes, it is.
We are rolling along with CHGO Bulls postgame. The Bulls come back from 18 down to beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight. But as of right now, Miss Katie Duffy, do we have a certain Mark Stein on the line ready to join us?
You do. You ready for him?
Let's go.
Let's go with it.
Let's talk to Stein.
Yes, sir.
Joining us now on sometimes the Go Talk hotline. Now it's just the Mark Stein hotline for tonight.
Yeah,
the one and only Mark Stein. If you are an NBA hoops junkie, you know his incredible work, spanning many years, decades for the Times, ESPN. He's got a great Substack, and now, most recently and most importantly, has joined our DLLS crew down there in Dallas, covering the Dallas Mavericks.
You see the hat.
Also joining our guys Mahrez and Legler on the All-City Network's All-NBA podcast regularly throughout this season. Follow him on that Twitter machine at The Stein Line. The one and only Mark Stein joins us now. Mark, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Gentlemen, thank you for that warm welcome. Some good reads you guys just knocked out. Gottlieb doesn't do reads?
This is my line every time, Mark. You know, I'm playing with Jordan and Pippen over here. I just stand in the corner and wait if they need to kick it out to the corner for 3. I'm happy to chip in, but I let these guys cook.
Good and entertaining. Good energy.
Appreciate
well,
that.
we appreciate that.
Thank you.
He brings the hoops brains. We bring the ad reads. This is, it's a division of labor situation.
Correct.
Well, so Mark, we were actually just before you joined us, we're chatting about how Zach LaVine had a couple of big buckets in the fourth quarter of this Bulls comeback win tonight. He did miss a few games with a groin strain. He just made his first game back tonight. What have you made of Zach LaVine's play thus far and all of the drama that is surrounding Zach and the Bulls as they enter this quasi-rebuild season while he is somewhat awkwardly still here?
Actually, the way this game played out tonight, I think, is perfect for my CHGO debut, because this team, every time I think about the Bulls, this team fascinates me on how they're going to deal with this season. And listening to you guys for 5 minutes before I got on, all I heard was the glee in all of your voices about this comeback from 18 down and how good Zach looked after missing a few games. And I didn't get a sense from listening to the Trusty Bulls post-game show that you three have any interest in hearing anything about tanking. You guys gave me the impression you want to see this team play to its ceiling based on the roster. And look, I just saw the Bulls in Dallas, and talking to people with the team, that's the vibe you get from being around this team. I spoke to one person within the organization, and they were saying, Zach's going to be an all-star in the East this season. So if that's why this team I am so fascinated by, because they are way too good, especially in an East that has 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 good teams, but certainly no depth. How on earth are your Chicago Bulls going to hang on to that top 10 protected pick with this roster, with Zach LaVine playing the way he is, with Vucevic playing the way he is, with the Josh Giddey impact, Coby White, I can go on and on and on. How on earth are the Bulls going to hang on to that top 10 pick?
By trading Zach and Vooch, Mark.
Oh, Mark.
How you do it.
Oh, Mark. Oh, man. Don't mistake the glee in the voices for what we really, truly want. We're talking about the victory that they had. And, yes, it was, granted, great victory that they had. But trust me, all three of, well, especially this right here, is definitely on that train of we want to keep this pick. We definitely would love to keep this top 10 pick. But you're right, it's difficult because not only do they have to showcase guys like Zach LaVine and Vooch and, all these other players, and Lonzo also, and they're not even playing a guy like Torrey Craig, but you're doing this while trying to play these young guys, and that is just a really difficult thing for a team that I think should be trying to not win all of these games. Like, how do you look at this and then I know it flabbergasts you just sitting here watching this kind of team, but how do you look at it and how the Bulls can showcase these guys and try to get them off this team where they can, get started with that youth movement?
This is exactly why the Bulls scores are some of the first that I look for after every game, because tonight, this is what Billy Donovan is not a tanking coach. This is exactly the kind of performance he wants. I'm sure you guys have talked ad nauseum about how much faster this team is playing, how much different it looks offensively without DeRozan here. And again, I cannot wait to see how this plays out, because yes, they are, they need Zach LaVine to play well to, quote, rebuild his value. But the reality is his contract is such that he's going to be difficult to trade even if he is an all-star. I don't think they're going to face the same trouble when they get to the point that they're willing to listen to offers on Vucevic. Vucevic is off to a tremendous start. He's shooting the hell out of the ball. I visited with him in Slovenia in late August, and he walked me through the offseason work he put in to work on his shot. He knows he didn't shoot it well last year. Well, right now he's shooting the cover off the ball. And with the way teams in this league need size, his contract is very tradable. I don't think there's going to be any issues if the Bulls reach the point that they're willing to take calls on him. But with Zach, it's all a function of the contract. People don't doubt that Zach LaVine is still an all-star level player who can do a lot of offensive damage. That's not the question. I don't know that he really has to rebuild much or prove much, honestly. But he's got a lot of zeros on that contract, and it's just not going to be easy to move. And again, right now, as we speak today, they're playing like a team that's chasing a playoff spot in the East. That's the goal. So again, how long is that going to last? Because you cannot lose. This draft is too good. I am not a full-time draft expert. The draft, to be covered properly in the year of 2024, you need to cover the draft 24/7 and make that your only job. But everybody knows that this draft is loaded. And you don't necessarily have to get the number one pick to get a good player, but you certainly don't want to send your top 10. You don't want to send your lottery pick to San Antonio. That would be devastating.
It's so tough because that's the situation they find themselves in. And it's such a fine line. We talked about it so much about, yes, they want to be competitive. As you mentioned, they're playing like a team that wants to be competitive. Billy Donovan is not, playing Modest Buzelis, for example, 25, 30 minutes a night, because that's the kind of move.
That's my guy. I love him.
So, okay, well then let's go there. What did you like about Modest? And was Dallas the game that he really had his moment there?
I think I saw his best game. Look, in all candor, and I think you guys will appreciate this, Buzelis came on the podcast I do with Chris Haynes shortly after being drafted. So he immediately rocketed to the top of my Rookie of the Year consideration. Nice. Also, he wears the historic number 14 jersey. I'm guessing all three of you are probably too young to have watched The White Shadow, the greatest show, maybe the greatest television show ever, starring the fictional Chicago Bull Kenny Reeves, who wore number 14 for the Bulls. So when I see Buzelis in that 14, I think back to the 70s and how much I loved that show and how much I love Kenny Reeves is my all-time favorite Chicago Bull. Even though he never actually played for them. But
clearly the reason that Modest chose that number, right?
I was thinking you might have liked it because it's Dirk's numbers flipped, but...
Well, it's funny. To be real, Dirk wanted 14 when he came to the NBA. But Robert Pack had it. And, veterans always get, a rookie, even as prized as Dirk was, he couldn't get 14 off Robert Pack. That's how 41 happened. He flipped it.
Robert Pack, for some reason, I don't know if people ever collected basketball cards, but when I was a kid, I did.
Oh yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just had like a million Robert Pack
cards. I wish we knew each other then, sir. we would have definitely been swapping some things. Go ahead.
Hey, in all seriousness, Buzelis I saw his best NBA game so far. I think he was really lively. He makes stuff happen out there, and he's not afraid. He wants it. He's
unlimited confidence.
Yeah, which I love. I mean, I think he has something.
Other than the Zach LaVine comeback story and will they or won't they find a trade for him, Mark, the other big, headline for the Bulls coming into the season was the Caruso for Josh Giddey trade and how Giddey would fit into this. Obviously, Giddey has been part of the equation of the Bulls playing much faster offensively than they did during the DeMar DeRozan era, but a lot of his fellow draft class mates just signed themselves big extensions on their rookie deals. Giddey and the Bulls did not come to an extension agreement. And Bulls fans this season are wondering, how good is Josh Giddey? Was it a fluke or was it just circumstances that caused him to get played off the floor and out of, OKC's rotation in their playoff run last year? And is this a guy that you really want to be committing a multi-year deal worth maybe somewhere in the ballpark of 120, 130, $150 million to build with and build around? What do you make of the Giddey fit in Chicago?
He looks like a different guy in a Bulls uniform, I got to be honest. But look, all the whispers at extension time and the extension window for the class of 2021 first-round picks, it closed on the eve of opening night. So the Bulls had not seen him yet in a regular season game. All the chatters, all the whispers were that there were no substantive talks about an extension, that the Bulls really wanted to see how Giddey would look playing for them before these guys really got into extension talks. But the reality is the ball's in his hands. He's running this offense. I mean, most guards in this class are getting contracts in the $30 million a year average range, like Suggs in Orlando, like Quickly in Toronto. I mean, if Giddey has a big stats, successful season, I imagine he's going to be wanting more than that. So that's something the Bulls have to be prepared for. But also that's, Giddey is an illustration of why this whole discussion we're having, we're not just talking Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. I mean, the Bulls have several competent NBA veteran players. Coby White's coming off a breakout season, and I love watching him play. Like, they've got 5, 6, 7 good players that, again, it's going to be really hard to finish. The most you can fall in the lottery is 4 spots. So if my math is right, and I wouldn't bet on it because I'm getting old, my math and my memory are fading, but I think that means you can't finish worse than 6th to be sure you don't fall out of the top 10. Like, how are the Bulls going to have one of the 6th worst records in this league with their current roster?
Honestly,
and they're more than a trade or 2 away from, answering that question, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I don't know. I think we're looking at the Bulls and how they play and not having a guy like that on their team, for me, kind of lends itself to, okay, they're going to go on a few stretches where they don't win against those teams that have those kind of guys. Like we just saw that when they played Minnesota, and Minnesota basically toyed with them for 3 quarters, and then Anthony Edwards said, I'm better than everyone on your squad. Here goes some 3-point shots. Here goes a victory. And plus their schedule, I think, that's coming up. They got Cleveland next coming up. They got to play the Rockets. Actually, they got Cleveland twice. Mm-hmm. They got to play the Knicks also. They got to play the Rockets. So I think the schedule will kind of also lend itself, to that. But to your point, it's been a really weird season so far. And we're seeing teams that are losing games that I don't think any of us had being this bad. Like, has it been wild to you to sit there and watch that at these teams like Milwaukee and Philadelphia kind of struggle right now?
I mean, the whole East has been wild. I mean, Cleveland's going 82-0. Boston is Boston. And everybody else is middling or worse. And the West is winning every interconference game. So, yeah, it's been a very weird start. And look, I mean, the true story, all jokes aside, the true story of the season so far has been the injuries. It's just been nonstop. It's been awful, dispiriting. And, today, I tweeted about this as well. I wrote an injuries suck column. That was my headline, like a week into training camp. I had to write another one before October was over because the injury list got that long. And then just today, Zion Williamson, John Morant, Kevin Durant, all out, weeks, not days. It just won't stop. So that's been part of it. But yeah, it's been a very weird season. I have to say, though, I just knocked my microphone off my desk and the screen doesn't go low enough. You should have seen the catch I made. Man, I didn't think I could do that at my age. I wish that would have been on camera.
We take credit.
Yeah. Quick reflexes never go away.
Mark, I got one more kind of like bigger picture one for you. Going back to this idea of like the Bulls have too much talent to be in a position where they're going to ensure they get their draft pick. The whole Eastern Conference, the West is obviously a different animal right now, but the Eastern Conference has been, I guess parity is one way to put it. Another way to put it would just be that like none of these teams aside from Boston and Cleveland are very good. And I think there's a lot of teams in the Western Conference that are obviously a level up from that, but still in that same kind of morass where everybody's
not going into the season. We thought the Knicks were going to be excellent. They've been off to a very bumpy start. And look, Towns has been great for them. Towns has been their best player. But the Knicks haven't come anywhere close to the team we were expecting. Orlando started with a lot of promise, and then they lost Banchero. Their offense is even in the best of times, they're offensively challenged. Without Banchero, they are really, really struggling. Milwaukee and Philly, Philly hasn't had, Philly's been missing at least 2 of their stars the whole time. So their struggles are, you can rationalize what's happening with the Sixers. Milwaukee was not supposed to be this bad. All the talk coming into the season was Doc Rivers, full training camp, Giannis and Dame will be better. Okay, they don't have Middleton. And, Middleton, we didn't know he was going to be signed. We still haven't seen Chris Middleton. So, look, again, the East was not supposed to have depth. But I actually thought 1 through 8 in the East, Miami was almost universally picked 8th. And when you have Eric Spoelstra as your coach and you still have Butler and Bam Adebayo, like, I thought 1-8, the East was going to be pretty solid. We have, Indiana's another team that hasn't come anywhere close to replicating their Eastern Conference Finals form. So, again, the East is supposed to have at least 8 good teams, and then I think Atlanta, Chicago were projected to be in that 9-10 range, and then it really was going to fall off from there. But look, the Nets have been scrappy. We saw that tonight. They almost beat Cleveland. Charlotte has been surprisingly scrappy. But again, I can't wait to see your guys' faces in May if the Bulls haven't secured the 6th worst record in the NBA.
And that's kind of my question is like, do you think that teams like the Pistons, the Nets, who just had a really tight game with the Cavs, the Bulls, obviously, that they could be so like short-sighted to potentially miss out on, a franchise-changing player that Dave's talking about just for a shot at the play-in for, the third.
Well, let's say that maybe the most promising thing about Chicago's season to this point, when we kind of run through it, it is the fact that Charlotte and Brooklyn, and you got to throw Detroit in there as well. Detroit has been, very difficult to beat early on. So all those teams were widely assumed to be like automatically tanking. Now, again, it's also early. We're basically 10 games in. How long is this going to last? But, reasonably going into the season, you guys tell me, Toronto, Washington, Brooklyn, Detroit, Charlotte, weren't those a pretty universal bottom 5 in the East?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bulls have to finish down there somewhere. And so they will love it if the Detroits and the Charlottes keep playing the way they are. Now, Charlotte, they've been interesting. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller have been really dynamic together out of the gate. So maybe I'm underselling what the Charlottes and Detroits are capable of, but I'd be worried, gents.
We're worried. I'm having trouble sleeping, Mark. Before we let you go, this is a Bulls podcast, but we are all hoops junkies of all kinds. And I feel like for Sabine, we have to ask Mark Stein this.
Oh, please.
There's nobody in the world of NBA reporters, beat writers, journalists who have been more synonymous with Dallas Mavericks coverage over the last 2 decades than you, Mark Stein. Me and Big Dave used to do a Bulls postgame show for NBC with a buddy, Sabine, who is a Chicago transplant and diehard lifelong Mavs fan. Yeah. When I say to you, Mark Stein, 2006 NBA Finals, Heat versus Mavs, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is Dirk Nowitzki and a lot of staffers that he's close to staying in their locker room. Like, I was a very slow writer. I probably didn't file my story for ESPN till 4 or 5 in the morning that night. They were still there. They were so crushed to lose that game 6 at home after going up 2-0 in that series. And they just spent, and I didn't know it at the time, but they spent all night in the building just absorbing. At that time, there had only been one comeback in NBA history from 2-0 down in the finals. And that was all the way back in the 77 finals when Portland did it to Dr. J in Philly. So at that point, a comeback from 0-2 was just unheard of. Middle 3 games in Dallas. It is, or actually, no, Game 6 was in Dallas, so no, they had already switched the format. But just a comeback from 2-0 was unheard of back then. And then for Dallas to get its vengeance in 2011, that was huge.
As Bulls fans who had to watch that Bulls Heat Conference Final series before that, I think everyone in Chicago was rooting for Dallas in 2011.
My memory, my God, I hate when. Yes, so it was first 2 games in Dallas, middle 3 in Miami, last 2 in Dallas, and Miami won Game 6 in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, so it's cool to get that insider info on the locker room situation after the Dallas loss. And I was saying the correct answer, by the way, was the number of Dwayne Wade free throw attempts in that series. That's what drives.
Was it 97?
Yeah. So he had more free throw attempts than were minutes played in that series.
Incredible.
Mark, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Get right in on the Mavs show.
Oh yeah, he's been watching.
He's a fan.
Speaking of, if you guys at their Bulls Nation can't get enough content, check out not only, of course, the new crew down there at DLLS Mavs. You can go watch their post-game show from them beating us down a few nights ago if you want to.
Absolutely.
And Mark Stein joining in with Mahrez and Tim Legler on the All-City Network's All NBA podcast throughout the season. Read his Substack. That's great too. Follow him on Twitter. The Stein Line. Mark, we appreciate the time. We look forward to the next time you swing through, buddy.
We'll do it again soon. And Gottlieb promised me that if I come in studio, Italian beef will be served. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, Mark. See you soon.
The one and only Mark Stein.
Just to tell you, I definitely know the White Shadow because my brother used to watch it. He told me about it. It was about a white coach of an all-black team.
Oh yeah,
in the hood of Chicago, and that was the whole story. You know, oh my God, race. You know what I mean? It was the thing. But yeah, it was an incredibly popular
70s,
show.
yeah.
Incredibly popular show for sure.
Anthony saying Dirk got revenge in 11. Kimberly saying Dirk's statue at least looks like him.
Yo, I was thinking that. I was thinking that's the revenge. Yeah. There you go. Right. Yeah, that's the revenge.
Prison Mike
right
said,
there.
"LOL, Kimberly. Dirk's statue guy should talk to Dwayne Wade's guy." Woo! Yeah. Yes. Dirk for sure got the last laugh there. We got to knock out one more quick break, then we'll come back, wrap up with a few more thoughts on tonight's Bulls win over the Hawks, and of course, go to the night.
All right.
Hit that like, stick around. Post-game tonight brought to you by Family Farms. Family Farms' culinary journey is woven with passion, dedication, and a commitment to crafting the finest bacon-wrapped chicken. My mouth just watered. A timeless delicacy that has tantalized taste buds since 1974. Join them on their flavorful adventure where every bite tells a story of tradition, quality, and the enduring spirit of Family Farms. And the tradition continues because now you can find Family Farms bacon-wrapped chicken product even easier. Look for it in the meat department at your local Woodman's, Mariano's, and Burcott's. Maybe you're craving a taste of home without leaving yours. Check out baconwrappedchicken.com or click the link for their Amazon store location, which also includes the legendary Rocky Rococo's Italian sausage. God, I love Italian sausage. And to find out when their new amazing Cajun Nation flavors will become available with an authentic Louisiana bite. Experience the flavor that's become a family favorite for generations. Visit your nearest Woodman's, Mariano's, Burcott's, and on Amazon. Go to baconwrappedchicken.com. Nom, 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 nom.
And after Matt does that and gets some bacon wrapped chicken, he's going to embrace chill.
Ooh, always.
Going to show him how you do it there, Peck. Oh, male model when it comes to embracing chill right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
And you can do that
I have
too.
my own mustache trimmer.
That's right. He is. Right. I mean, you can't look this cool, but you can definitely embrace the same kind of chill like having that frosty cold Coors Light. Because between work, social media, and the choices life throws our way, it's no wonder we're more worked up. Coors Light celebrates rising above and choosing a chill mindset. Why not turn that rained out barbecue into the Will to Go Gottlieb 14th annual karaoke house party? Mark Stein's invited. Or after a tough loss, settle scores with the ice cold peace offering. Make the choice to choose chill, then reach for a frosty cold Coors Light and that mountain cold refreshment. Because when those mountains turn blue, oh yes, you know what to do. It's as cold as the Colorado Hurricanes. Cold lager, cold filter, and cold package for that smoother finish. So embrace that chill mindset and crack open that Coors Light. That's that mountain cold refreshment. Make the most out of your time to choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door via Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. That's CoorsLight.com/CHGO Basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Miguel. Thank you all for joining us. Hit that like button. Our friend and producer, Katie Duffy, requires
That's right.
more likes.
More likes. We're at 69. Nice.
She's not a
But
troll.
no.
She's not a troll,
Mm-hmm.
but she would like some more likes.
Look at that perfect thumb right there.
That's right.
There it is.
The perfect thumb.
Yeah, she will fight you.
So, guys,
She will
well,
win.
first of all, shout out to Mark Stein.
Yes.
Niles in the comments said, I like the segment with Mark. Hope y'all have him on more often. Cool to finally put a face to the name.
Yeah.
Face to the name. Niles, were you not watching like sideline player and coach interviews on NBA for years?
Well, we don't know how old Niles is.
Some
I
of
guess
us are
that's true.
young. Some of us are young.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Did you know who Mark Stein was?
Yeah, but he doesn't have his face on his Twitter profile, so I couldn't have told you what his face looks like.
Oh,
fair.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
fair,
Fair enough.
Yeah, put the guns down.
No, I'm just saying, like, dude,
Put the hats down.
Mark Stein. Years in a row where I watched Mark Stein on my television every night on a NBA doubleheader.
I get it,
But
but
he was at one of those games, covering one of those games.
we can't think just because we're junkies and sickos
And
that
old.
everybody else and grown. Absolutely.
Not to call Mark Stein old.
You know what I mean?
He's looking good.
Oh, looking amazing. White Shadow.
How cool is it that
Right
Mark
there.
Stein works with us at ALLCITY? I
Cool.
mean,
And Tim Legler too. Like,
oh yeah, Legler.
Yeah, just
we had
throw him in.
Legler on Tuesday's show.
Yeah,
Go
have
give
my-
that a watch.
Have my nephew text me like, dude, you had an interview with Tim Legler? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Just another day
Just
at
regular
ALLCITY.
day, bro. Just another
Niles
day.
just said, "Hello, fam. I'm 25. Don't kill me, fam." Okay. All right.
See? Yeah,
okay.
but I knew. I
Okay.
knew. I was like, yeah,
Fair enough.
we got you right there.
Also, bless you in your youth.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Don't waste it.
Katie thinks she's old. So you know you're young. Shout out to you.
I Bulls fans got a little bit of a dose of reality from Stein there, talking about the landscape of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, man.
What the goals are this season.
Listen, like I think I like that coming from the two guys who we've had on, both national media guys, telling us exactly what we've been saying on this show the entire time. And so, again, maybe sometimes you feel like, man, maybe we're too close to it. You know what I mean? Like maybe we're just too involved in it and things like that. So it's just great to hear that perspective coming from people who do this for a living. My goodness. But also giving that perspective from the outside and calling it like they see it, as we love to do here at CHGO Bulls. So, yeah, just to get that, reaffirmation.
I mean, we're bearing the lead a little bit. Like the idea that they could be potentially so short-sighted as to think, look, these other teams aren't as good as we thought they were. We're a little bit maybe better than we thought they were.
I'm going to go for it.
And we're going to go for it. I mean, that would be just a devastating
I think, but
mistake on the part of the Bulls.
But that's what I told him. I think even with that, I think the schedule as it is right now kind of deters that for the Bulls right now, even when they want to try to make that run. And the injuries also aren't helping them as well. But you've got some tough games you got to play.
But this is what happens when you let things happen to you. When you do not take enough initiative to put yourself in position to do whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's go all in or save your draft pick. Like you have to be active in that. And I think the Bulls did a good job of like positioning themselves where our defense is not going to be good this year without Caruso. And we're going to struggle in late game scenarios without DeRozan. Maybe we can make up for some of that with playing younger and playing faster, and offset some of that with a more modern style and keep the fans exciting, keep the fans excited. But I mean, they are walking a very fine line right now. And
they are.
It is so important to remember what's at stake here. Like I think it's worth talking about, especially, we haven't really brought it up every single time because it's only 10 games. It's the first part of the season. Anything could happen. That's true.
Anything is happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of keeping your eyes on the prize, understanding the assignment, and moving towards that is really important. And I don't know what the right solution is. Like, you can't bench guys. You can't say, sorry, Zach, you're too good, go home. You can't say, your defense is too good, we can't have you here. Like,
right.
But they've got to find other solutions. And I think if you wait too long, you're just going to make life harder for yourselves. And what happens if you finish the season with the 8th worst record and you're thinking, this is pretty good.
Oh, God.
We're top 10. We didn't have a great season, but we have some good young players. And all of a sudden, 3 teams jump you and you lose your pick. And now, where are you going with that? I mean, they have to be more careful. I really think
got to be more careful.
It's just,
and you have depressed Matt Pat.
Oh my God. I did not need this win tonight. I'm just being honest. I did not need this. This was not like some incredibly impressive win. The Hawks played like dog shit in the second half.
Yeah, it wasn't. Like I said, it was the Hawks who gave that.
The Hawks gave that game to the Bulls.
Yeah.
And okay, it was nice to see Julian Phillips go 4 of 8 off the bench tonight.
Sweet special boy.
My sweet special boy who I still believe in, even though all the hype's around Modest right now. 10 points off the bench from Julian. Dalen, 9 points off the bench.
Let's go.
4 boards.
Let's go.
Knocked down a 3.
6 coming. 6 in a row on the way.
And like Ayo continuing to show that he is such a valuable player in this league with, 31 massive minutes out there. I'm good with all that, but like nobody tonight was good to a level that I was like, yeah, that was worth that win against Atlanta.
I also don't think anybody was good to a level to where I was panicked either. And I think that's what I was holding on to. I'm looking at them like, you're not going to win a lot of games like that against a lot of teams. Like Atlanta, it's certain teams you just play.
But that's kind of my point.
It's kind of like that.
All these teams are not good, and they're all injured. Like, I just think it's going to be a little bit harder to get down where they need to go, as Mark said. But I think the other
Cleveland coming to help us, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you can only play them twice a year, I guess. But
hey, no, man,
the other side of
this, played it 4 times.
4 times, Will. 4.
That's true. But the other side of this is like, okay, nobody really played so well that you're like really inspired. Like Patrick, I thought played a much better game. I want to talk about him a little bit later. Julian, I thought Dylan actually played really well.
Got that right.
But the other side of it is like, this was a concerning Giddey game for me. Because he did not close. And we're talking about him looking different in a Bulls uniform, and I think that has been true. We're talking about him playing with the ball in his hands, and obviously that's true. He's putting up bigger numbers, 13, 6, and 7 tonight. That's great. Couldn't close against the Hawks team that obviously was really struggling. That helped the Bulls win by putting Ayo on the floor. Sure. His defensive play, his transition play, getting that dunk and sealing the game. I mean, it wasn't a bad Giddey game by any means. 5 of 9 from the field, hit his 3-point attempt, made both of his free throws. But this is the same issue that we saw with him last year in OKC, which was that he couldn't close games.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it was also done because Ayo just plays that well against Trae Young?
I think it was just because it was a better matchup. And obviously he was playing really well, but that's that's the whole point, is that Ayo's a better matchup for most teams because he can shoot the 3 and he can play defense and he can play off the ball. And when you got Zach and Coby out there and you want to run a guard pick and roll and set Coby up for a great shot, teams aren't going with Giddey. They're going to leave him. So yeah, I think that's a concern. And
so
again,
in the comments earlier today, I pointed out that he played 25 minutes compared to Ayo's 31.
I don't think Giddey was bad. I'm not like slandering him or anything, but this is the first, maybe the second time we've seen this year Billy decide to go another direction. And that is what I'm looking at. Not necessarily his performance, but Billy's desire to play somebody else. I think that says something.
Also want to drop some breaking news. Mark Stein is following me now.
Dude.
YouTube.
Bro. I was about to say the same thing.
Give me this Goon of the Night stuff, man. Let's get some Goon of the Night.
I have had Mark Stein Twitter alerts set on my phone, my various phones, for the past 10 years.
That's a long time.
Every time Mark Stein has tweeted, my phone beeps at me for 10 years.
Wow.
And he just followed us.
We're sickos.
Flex.
Let's go into the night, shall we?
Let's do it, Katie.
Goon it up. We gonna goon.
Is it gonna be Pat? Is it gonna be Pat stuffing that statue?
To beat the man, you gotta beat the man now. I'm the man. Woo!
Fire today. Wow. Floss, no matter what. 588-2300. Katie.
Empire Today.
Tonight. Oh, yeah. She spoke. That time she tried to hide the microphone. My favorite one was when she acted like she didn't know how to work anything. What is this? A computer? What
I just woke up here. I was in a coma.
Tiger Woods? Who is that? Barack Obama. So yes, Goon of the Night. Goon of the Night going right here. Katie, we'll start with you. Who is your Goon of the Night?
Listen, I got an oddball here for you.
Come on with it.
But there were like 3 people in the comments who said it, so I'm hopping on the bandwagon. I think Mark Stein is Goon of the Night.
Respect.
The microphone catch that we'll never see, but you could tell by the look on his face that he was really impressed with himself.
Yes, he was.
So Mark Stein, Goon of the Night. There it is.
Okay.
Love it.
Will Gottlieb, sir, your Goon of the Night?
I do want to go with Patrick. I'm not going to, but I do want to address why I want to do that. We can do that after this. But I'm going with Ayo Dosunmu.
Okay.
For continuing to be the father of Trae Young.
The warden, as I like to call him, because he keeps him in prison, locking him up. Matt Peck. Mark Heinrich.
I do want to give some goon love.
I love that so much.
To Vooch.
Okay.
Not necessarily because he did anything goon-like tonight, but I keep waiting for the poop Vooch game. And it 18 and 12 tonight. 8 of 13 from the field. 2 of 4 from downtown.
That's 50%.
8th double-double in their first 10 games. He's shooting the lights out.
Also the record that he set tonight.
Yes, also, there you go. There's the goonage. First Bulls player since Artis Gilmore to have 200-plus points and 100 or more rebounds in the team's first 10 games to start a season.
That's saying a lot.
Vooch did that tonight and collectively through their first 10 games. Who wants him? Stein was just talking about it. Who wants him? But in the meantime, mad respect for these first 10 games from Nikola Vucevic.
He's been awesome.
But in spite of that, Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks get my award for Goon of the Night tonight. They acted a goddamn fool in that fourth quarter. They said, let's find as many creative ways as possible to have a junk half-court offense to take the junkiest of junk shots. When we put up 70 in the first half, got whatever they wanted, it's not like this Bulls team is that capable of like, we're going to clamp down. This Bulls defense's version of clamping down
off my plate.
Is that, the gif of Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka being like, wait, no, please stop. That's the Bulls defense clamping down. The Hawks, and led by fearless Trae Young, it's some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in that fourth quarter. Right, they win Goon of the Night. They do. They just do.
Can I just reread the numbers for the Hawks in the fourth quarter?
Go ahead.
Because I said at the top of the show, but people tune in and out. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear this.
Wheels going Goon. Let's go.
We need an in-show mic check.
In-show mic check. Can't even be concerned.
Let me get you an ISO.
Up
Here
to
we go.
level.
He in the red. Let's go.
Okay. In the fourth quarter, the Atlanta Hawks, who scored 70 points in the first half, in the fourth quarter, they had 15 points. They did so on 6 of 23 shooting. 0 of 7 from beyond the arc. 0 of 7. And 3 of 7 from the free throw line. That's 26% from the field, 0% from 3, and 42.9% from the line. They had 4 turnovers and 6 made field goals. The Atlanta Hawks.
Can't wait until April when the Bulls have beaten this Atlanta Hawks team in the first of 2 play-in games, and Bulls fans are excited about it.
Next Hawks game, Hawks.
Oh my! Oh no!
No! First, there it is. There it is.
Ooh, almost made it. Conference
2
on the
times.
fly.
All right. Conference finals. That's what that is. Oh man. Well,
that's so bad.
I made a late case, as Prison Mike said.
Goon of the Night. It's been some amazing cases made right here.
Heinrich, though.
Thank you. Yeah, Will, you are now nominated also for Goon of the Night.
I just wanted a nomination. I didn't want to win, but I just wanted a nomination.
He's just happy to be there. Just happy to be there. Just happy to be there, guys. Goon of the Night. As I tell you all the time, my vote can be changed by people's arguments. And tonight is one of those nights. My vote has been changed because of an argument. Goon of the Night is Mark Stein.
Oh!
Mark Stein wins Goon of the Night. This was going to Dalen. This was going his way there. The argument is right. The microphone was awesome. He came on already like getting at us. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
We just me and Matt looked at each other like,
no, Mark Stein.
You know, and then he follows us, and then he follows Matt after 10 years of Matt getting updates from him. He follows him, and we just turned 6 years old, dropping a White Shadow reference on y'all asses at the same time. It was amazing, dog. That was amazing. Shout out to Mark Stein, sir. Sir, you win your first ever Goon of the Night. Can't wait for you to get here so you can actually hold this and we can take pictures with it. Shout out to you. This is yours.
Well earned.
Oh, man. That was awesome. Very well earned. Very, very well earned.
Shout out to Connor in the comments for a hilarious and appropriate
when it comes
comment. When you've disgusted Will's basketball sensibilities. You know you've effed up. That's my favorite thing
Like
I've ever heard. Thank you,
Niles
Connor.
saying that was savage Gottlieb. Yes, man. He was on it, man.
Niles also said Dalen will get another one in the future, so it's fine to give this one to Mark Stein.
Yeah, Dalen. Oh man, Dalen is right now the runaway. Like my goodness, he's gonna be that guy. He's carved out that niche for himself on this team.
He's only had one.
I see the future.
Okay.
I see it.
Okay,
I see
sorry.
it, man.
I didn't
Wait,
realize
talk
it
about-
was the
Talk about
future.
sensibility.
I see it, man.
Dalen's goon sensibility.
This was win number 4 on the season, right?
Yes.
So our goons. So Stein got one.
Mhm.
Dalen has one.
Mhm.
Patrick got
Patrick
one.
has one, and is it Vooch?
Why did Patrick get one?
I'm pulling up the
Wanna
spreadsheet. Hang
know.
on.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
pulling up the
Katie's
spreadsheet.
got the
What
spreadsheet.
happened there?
Yeah. Well, you say wait, Patrick get one?
I'm trying to think of which game that was.
Maybe because he didn't leave at halftime. I don't know.
He didn't go get his Uber Eats order.
He did not leave this game at halftime. He
He did not.
registered some second half stats.
He
tonight.
did. He did, man.
He had 4 points in the second half.
Yeah.
A couple of rebounds.
Wait, this is their 4th win?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey.
And now Mark Stein.
And now Mark Stein. All right. Josh Giddey got one.
Vooch deserves one at some point.
Okay.
That's why I give him some love.
He's
Give him
going to
some
get
love.
Give him
his.
some love.
Don't worry, man.
He's
The,
been an honorable
the
mention.
belt finds you. You know, the belt finds
If you
you.
win enough,
Alberto
the belt will
Hernandez in the
find you.
comments just said Javon Carter was in the game outside of garbage minutes, robbed for Goon of the night.
Hey, I said he was the lucky
Hey.
charm for him tonight, man. When he came in, it definitely changed.
Javon
Plus 10.
Javon Carter scored 0 points on 0 of 3, failed to register a rebound, an assist, a steal, a block, plus 10.
Plus 10.
He snelled.
He snailed.
Dude,
Snail.
that's an impressive Snelly cake.
Not
game.
Slay. Snail.
We got some super chats. We got a shout out, Katie. Yeah, we got Prison Mike. Appreciate Prison
guy.
Mike with the super chat always. I threw out a couple of office gifts tonight during tonight's game. Bulls win.
Bulls win.
Just bummed we didn't get a peck face down pick for a typical Bulls Hawks OT. Yo, okay, so to that end, Braggs and his entourage walked through here earlier tonight. Greg Braggs of CHGO Bears, because he forgot his charger
Yeah.
here, and I
So
guess
he
needed
brought
it
like
tonight.
6 people.
He
Brought
literally
his
he
crew.
rolled in 6 people deep to
Yeah.
come retrieve his charger that I guess he needs for Bears pregame,
Yeah.
tailgating, whatever tomorrow.
Yeah.
Shout out, come hope y'all
Show
go
up at
hang
the
out with our
tailgate.
CHGO Bears tailgate crew
Yeah, yeah,
tomorrow. But he said like, Peck, you excited for triple OT tonight? No, because the last season,
Mhm.
and it was late in the season, and I was done with this team, with all of this.
To be fair.
And Braggs was like sitting watching with us
Game
for
team.
some reason and was like, let's go in OT.
He did say this.
And then it went to OT.
And then, yeah.
And I wanted to wrangle Braggs' neck so bad. And then he came in here with that same energy tonight. And I was like, don't you dare, Braggs.
You didn't get an OT.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I would have ended him if we did, because it would have been his fault. Jay Bliggity123 saying with a super chat, that Wade statue is Anderson Silva. It has to be.
All right, so I don't have them side by side, but
Okay.
I can show you both.
Yeah. I already know
Okay,
what
there's-
Anderson
there's the
look- Yeah,
Wade
go and show him
statue.
Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
So here's D Wade, obviously.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, what is supposed to be
Unforgettable.
D-Wade.
From the
Maybe.
neck down, it's incredible.
Oh. I
And then
mean,
Anderson Silva.
the
Spider.
facial expression
Yeah.
in that photo especially very much matches.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Also, I don't know if retirement age D Wade has a 6-pack like that.
Probably
Although I
not.
guess the statue is
But
not of him in
statue
his
D
retirement
Wade.
age.
Yeah,
This-
exactly.
This is my house D Wade.
Yeah, statue D Wade definitely had an 8-pack.
Chicago Bulls D Wade did definitely not have that 8-pack.
Yeah, he had a 6.
I will always envision Chicago Bulls one and done season Dwayne Wade with a beer gut.
That's how you see him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And hasn't shaved in 6 days.
Man, averaging 18 with a beer gut is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Shout
so-
out to him.
This is not a super chat. I need someone to explain it to me like I'm 5.
Sure.
Josh Giddey is basketball Justin Fields.
I don't get that one.
I don't get that
Okay,
one.
Okay,
I
I
don't get
thought
that
I
one.
thought maybe it was just me. I don't get it.
I
I
don't
just
see that,
figured I'd
brother.
ask, and that's okay.
I don't necessarily get the comp.
Yeah, I don't see that one.
Like-
I don't see
like-
that one.
Like has a special skill but a flawed overall player. Is that like loosely the
works.
comp you're
Not
trying to
enough.
make?
Not enough players around him, so his greatness can't be brought out. I don't know what that means. I don't know, but please explain it to us. I
Joe
would love to
Cowley
know.
waffles back and forth between loving and hating that player. Is that it? My mustache got a shout out in the Joe Cowley Bulls beat injury report tonight.
You are the man. You're just having a heck of a night, baby. You are having a
flexes
night.
on flexes.
Flexes on flexes, man.
Bert Heinrich.
Yep.
Mark Stein.
Peck
Stash.
The man.
For
That's
the
a big
record,
three.
for the record, Goat has never combed my mustache for me.
Nor have I trimmed it.
Nor have you trimmed it.
Yet.
So the mic does work.
Oh, he said, "Oh, your mic does work." Oh, yeah. Well done. You
Uh,
on your goon thing tonight, sir. Well done.
We got to get out of here in a minute. Just one quick reminder. Shout out to everybody who took advantage of the amazing offer to become a CHGO diehard that we ran last week. Thousands of new diehards have joined the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah.
And took advantage of that amazing deal. If you missed out on it, it's okay. We're going to have another CHGO first-time diehard sign-up offer coming around Black Friday, around the Thanksgiving holiday. So there is another offer coming down the pipe soon. And that is when you can take advantage of this wonderful stuff that we offer to our diehards and our diehards only. The Discord lounge, great place to hang out. None of the ads and all the other stuff on the other social media platforms. Just you and your fellow diehards. Access to all the great writing and reporting from all of our credentialed reporters here, including that guy right over there, Billy Gottlieb. Great diehard-only stuff on allchgo.com. Plus, discounts every time you come to one of our fun events, like, per se, tomorrow's CHGO Bears Tailgate.
Woo. Katie will be
tailgating every home game. Our CHGO Bulls and Blackhawks takeovers at the Madhouse that are on deck this season. Plus, 20% off every time you shop at the merch locker and that free shirt right when you sign up. Perks on perks on perks and all of the very best of our content and coverage for you diehards only. With that, guys, Bulls get a little night off or a day off tomorrow. And then we got Cavs, who we will play 2 of the next 3. Cavs, who, while the Bulls were playing Atlanta, let the Nets pretend to be good or pretend to be a team poised to, give the Cavs their first L of the season until the Cavs in the fourth quarter said, no, thank you.
No.
Cavs now 11-0 and will be the unbeaten team of the NBA coming into that matchup with the Bulls on Monday.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, wow. Wow, bro. Wow. I didn't see this
Pretty
coming.
wild. People were talking about the Cavs being a team that needed to be broken up this offseason.
Yeah, I remember it. I was on a Cleveland Cavaliers podcast, Flex. I was on that show and having that same kind of discussion, and he seemed to be very hyped about the season, and he broke it down how good they were going to be, and I'm just listening. Yeah, okay, but it's the Cavs, bro. I was like, they'll get third. No, they came out and they did their thing. So shout out to the Cavs for telling me to drink a warm glass of shut the hell out. Shout out to you,
my
man.
world now, Grandma.
What's that?
I feel like the Bulls were the last team to beat the Cavs. Didn't they win their final preseason game against the Cavs?
That's a good observation. I think you're correct.
If they did, that's hilarious.
The Bulls the last one. It stopped with us.
Yeah, they went 0-4 in the preseason. The Bulls beat them twice.
2 times.
If you ever needed further proof that preseason games are preseason games.
I'm so interested to see it, man, because, I was saying it to Will when we were watching the game, just how Mobley has definitely stepped into it, man, stepped into the I'm better than you kind of role that I've been waiting on him to step into. And, man, he has just been dominant against a lot of these teams, offensively and defensively, even bringing the ball up the floor. Taking them inside, with the outside, but also defensively, blocking every single shot. Him and Jared Allen have just been causing all kinds of havoc on the defensive end, man.
Yeah.
And Darius Garland is bounced back from a really down season last year, and he's been outstanding. 20 points and 6 assists tonight, 8 of 11 from the field. He's just been really hot. He's playing with confidence. And Donovan Mitchell hasn't even really looked his best yet. So I think there's even more upside for this team. Like you said, Mobley, who I've always been high on, is really taking a step forward in terms of his creation, and Kenny Atkinson coming in to coach them is, empowering him to make plays and utilizing him with the ball in his hands a little bit more. I think that is opening up the floor for them. So
it's a great point.
They've been great, and they haven't even had Max Strus yet.
It's a great point, man. Yeah, you see the confidence that Garland is playing with. Like, he knows.
Looks like a different player.
This is my team.
I remember watching them in the playoffs last year, and he made a corner 3 and threw his hands up in the air because it was the first shot he made all postseason. He just was not himself. Had the broken jaw. Wasn't able to eat for a month. Lost a ton of weight. Just was not a Darius Garland-like season. So nice to see him bouncing back. And man, they are good.
They are good. They're good.
They are good indeed. Shout out to Ari in the comments. He said, I just came here because of Stein. Shams doesn't have a chance against Stein. That's right. Mark Stein, part of the All-City Network fam.
Stein.
How dope is that?
Super dope.
Bulls Nation, if you can't get enough when it comes to NBA shows, NBA podcasts, and you want the national perspective of what's going on around the league, not just Bulls stuff, can't recommend it enough. Check out that All-City, All-NBA pod. They have their own channel. You can find it in the related channels from the CHGO Sports YouTube channel's homepage. Mahrez, Legs, and now Stein joining that crew. They do a great job. Really great stuff. And as we said earlier, we had Legs with us on Tuesday's show. So go give that a watch and or listen if you haven't done it yet. Bulls off tomorrow. We are off tomorrow. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. Hope for the love of God, Bears win.
Okay.
This city needs that. If they go to 4-5 after being 4-2,
I'm going to Matt's house and getting the gasoline and the matches.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna come, do a wellness check on me because I'll be.
No, I know what you'll be doing for. You'll have the gasoline ready
in the oven. You got to pull it out of there.
I know you'll have the pitchfork sitting by the door, ready to go. I'm not concerned about that.
Pitchforks, plural.
Yeah, I said an S. I didn't say one.
Okay, yeah.
I did not say one. I know who I'm talking to, sir.
Yeah.
We'll be ready. Oh my God!
So let's hope we all enjoy our Sunday, and then Bulls Cavs action back on Monday. We will be here live pregame 6:30 Central Time before a 7 p.m. tip off. Bulls trying to be the first team in the NBA to take down the Cavs in the regular season. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
But first, enjoy a Sunday.
Yeah.
Shout out and thanks to the queen on the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. Will Go Gottlieb, read his stuff, allchgo.com. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb, perfectly coiffed. Big Dave, bam, BNWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out to Stein, the one and only Mark Stein, once again for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And we will talk to you on Monday, Bulls Nation. Bulls win. Hit the like on your way out. So you're be good.
Peace, love.
We all silly like the mayor.